You see, most people don't realize that the tone of their entire day is often decided in the first 10 minutes after they wake up. The moment your eyes open, your mind is searching for direction, and if you don't give it one, the world will. That's why so many of us feel like we're constantly reacting to messages, to headlines, to other people's expectations. We've handed over the steering wheel of our attention without even noticing it. But the truth is, the most powerful thing you can do to build an unbreakable mindset is to begin each day with intention. Intention is not about setting a to-do list. It's about choosing who you want to be before the world tells you who you should be. When you start your day by checking your phone, you're not just looking at information, you're allowing other people's priorities to define your own. You're starting from a place of reaction, but when you start your day with intention, even for just a few minutes, you reclaim authorship of your life. You tell your mind, I decide what matters today. There's a quiet strength in that. Think of it like calibrating a compass. If you begin the day pointed even slightly in the wrong direction, by evening you could be miles off course. But if you take those few moments to align your internal compass, to breathe, to reflect, to remind yourself of what kind of person you want to be, the rest of the day becomes an expression of that decision. You'll still face challenges, but you'll meet them on your terms. Neuroscience tells us that the brain is naturally drawn to what's familiar. If chaos is familiar, you'll subconsciously seek it. If calm is familiar, you'll create it. That's why consistency matters more than complexity. You don't need an hour-long morning routine or a list of affirmations taped to your mirror. You just need presence. 10 intentional minutes to sit with your thoughts, to ask yourself, what does success look like for me today? Not in 5 years, not on a vision board today. The people who build unbreakable mindsets aren't necessarily smarter or stronger. They're simply more intentional. They understand that mental strength isn't something you switch on in a crisis. It's something you cultivate in the quiet moments before the world wakes up. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, reach for yourself. Take one intentional breath, one deliberate thought, one clear choice. Because every day you choose intention over impulse, you're not just starting your morning, you're shaping your mindset, one decision at a time. The mind is a fascinating thing. It's powerful, complex, and endlessly active. But it's also lazy. It takes the path of least resistance, repeating the same thoughts, the same fears, the same stories we've told ourselves for years. And just like the body, if the mind isn't trained, it weakens. It falls into habits of doubt, negativity, and self-sabotage without even realizing it. But the beautiful part is this: your thoughts are not facts, they're patterns, and patterns can be retrained. Think of your mind as a muscle. If you go to the gym once, you won't get stronger. If you go every day, even for a short time, you will. The same is true for your thinking. You have to show up daily with awareness and discipline to train the quality of your thoughts. Every time you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, and you replace it with I'll find a way, you're not just being positive, you're rewiring your brain. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, is proof that every time we redirect a thought, we're literally reshaping the structure of our minds. This isn't about blind optimism. It's not about pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It's about developing mental strength, the ability to face reality without surrendering to it. When a difficult moment arises, most people spiral into self-criticism or fear. But those who have trained their minds respond differently. They pause, they breathe, they assess. They remind themselves, I've handled challenges before. I can handle this one too. That's the result of mental training, not denial, but control. We train our minds by practicing awareness, noticing when we drift into autopilot, and choosing to come back. It's as simple and as difficult as that. When you notice your thoughts drifting toward fear, comparison, or resentment, ask yourself, Is this thought helping me or hurting me? That question alone can interrupt a lifetime of conditioning, and over time you begin to feel the shift. You stop being at the mercy of every passing emotion. You stop mistaking every anxious thought for truth. You start to experience what it means to lead yourself calmly, consciously, consistently. Because in the end, your mindset is the foundation of everything you do. You can't control the world, but you can train the way you interpret it. And when you train your thoughts to serve you instead of sabotage you, the world doesn't get easier, you get stronger. We live in a culture that glorifies comfort. Everything is designed to make life easier, faster delivery, softer chairs, shorter routes, instant everything. And while convenience has its place, it also comes with a hidden cost. The more we avoid discomfort, the weaker our tolerance for it becomes. The truth is, the human mind was never built to thrive in constant ease. Growth, resilience, and confidence are all forged in friction. Discomfort isn't the enemy of progress, it's the birthplace of it. When you think about the people you admire, those who seem grounded, composed, unshakable, it's not because life spared them from pain. It's because they stopped running from it. They faced it, learned from it, and built something extraordinary through it. Discomfort is not a punishment, it's feedback. It tells you where your limits are and invites you to expand them. The problem is, we've been conditioned to interpret discomfort as danger. The moment we feel uncertain or challenged, our brains scream, "Something's wrong." But nothing is wrong. You're just stretching, you're stepping outside the familiar. It's the same biological mechanism that makes your muscles ache after a workout, temporary strain that leads to lasting strength. The same principle applies to your mindset. Every time you face discomfort, your mental resilience grows. That's why the strongest minds make discomfort a daily practice. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It could be choosing the harder task instead of the easy one. Speaking up when it's uncomfortable, taking a cold shower, making that phone call, or sitting in silence with your thoughts. It's not about the activity itself. It's about training your mind to stop retreating at the first sign of resistance. Because the moment you stop fearing discomfort, you start mastering it. There's a powerful shift that happens when you realize pain and growth can coexist. You stop asking, "How do I avoid struggle?" and start asking, "What is this struggle teaching me?" That change in perspective transforms suffering into strength. The people who build unbreakable mindsets aren't those who never fall apart. They're the ones who learn how to rebuild stronger every time. So tomorrow, when discomfort shows up in a challenge, a rejection, a moment of doubt, don't run from it. Sit with it, learn from it, lean into it just long enough to see what it's trying to teach you. Because every time you do, you're not just surviving the hard moment, you're sculpting the strength that will carry you through every one that follows. Gratitude has become such a common word that we've almost stripped it of its meaning. We treat it like a box to tick. List 3 things you're thankful for, write them down, move on with your day. But that's not gratitude, that's routine. True gratitude isn't about counting blessings, it's about feeling them. It's about allowing yourself to pause long enough to recognize that even in the middle of chaos, something in your life is still good, still working, still worth holding on to. Most people approach gratitude as a task, something to add to their morning ritual or their journal. But real gratitude is a state of awareness. It's a lens through which you see the world. It doesn't ignore the hard parts of life, it reframes them. It says, yes, this is difficult, but it's not everything. There's still light here if I choose to see it. That's the power of gratitude. It shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, from what's missing to what's present. Psychologically, gratitude changes the brain. Studies show that when you truly engage in the feeling of gratitude, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, in the same chemicals associated with joy and well-being. But what's more important than the science is the philosophy behind it. Gratitude trains your mind to notice what's working instead of what's broken. And when you consistently notice what's working, you create a foundation of emotional stability that no external event can easily shake. You see, it's easy to be grateful when life is going well. The challenge and the opportunity is to practice gratitude when it's not. When plans fall apart, when people disappoint you, when the future feels uncertain, that's when gratitude becomes a discipline. Because in those moments, it's not about feeling thankful, it's about choosing to be. The most resilient people I've met aren't the ones who have had the easiest journeys. They're the ones who have learned to find meaning in the pain, to see lessons in loss, to recognize that even in hardship, there's growth. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it keeps it from defining you. It reminds you that life isn't just what happens to you, it's also how you choose to see it. So, as you move through your day, don't just ask, "What am I grateful for?" Ask, "What can I appreciate even now?" Because gratitude, when practiced deeply, doesn't just make life brighter, it makes you unbreakable. Your environment is shaping you more than you realize, not just the physical space around you, but the mental one you live in every day. Every conversation you engage in, every piece of content you consume, every voice you allow into your head, all of it becomes part of the inner dialogue you carry. And the truth is, your mind can't stay strong if it's constantly surrounded by noise, negativity, or distraction. You can't build an unbreakable mindset while living in a mental environment that keeps breaking your focus and your faith in yourself. Think about it. We filter the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the water we drink, yet we rarely filter what we feed our minds. We scroll through endless opinions, outrage, and comparison without noticing how quietly it eats away at our peace. The human brain wasn't designed to process that much emotional stimulation. Every negative comment, every cynical post, every toxic conversation, it all leaves residue. And that residue becomes your reality if you don't consciously clean it out. Protecting your mental environment doesn't mean cutting yourself off from the world. It means curating what you allow to influence you. Surround yourself with people who challenge you without draining you. Seek voices that expand your perspective, not ones that narrow it. If the energy around you doesn't inspire growth, it's permission to step away. Because peace isn't found in isolation, it's built through intention. You have to start asking, does this thought, this person, this content bring me closer to who I want to be, or does it pull me away? That one question can transform how you live, because energy is contagious. Spend enough time around people who complain, and you'll start to see problems everywhere. Spend time around people who take responsibility, and you'll start seeing solutions instead. The people you give access to your mind are the architects of your outlook. Choose them wisely. An unbreakable mindset isn't just about mental strength, it's about mental hygiene. You must learn to guard your peace with the same seriousness you guard your goals, because no mindset can thrive in a polluted environment. So protect your mind as you would your most valuable asset, because it is. What you allow in shapes what comes out. And when you start feeding your mind truth, optimism, and purpose, you stop being a product of your environment and start becoming the creator of it. Most people end their days the same way they began them, on autopilot. They rush from one task to another, checking boxes, meeting deadlines, responding to everyone else's demands, and when night comes, they collapse into bed, exhausted but not fulfilled. The body rests, but the mind keeps running. Because when you don't pause to process your day, your thoughts carry over into the next one. And without reflection, life becomes a blur, a series of repeated reactions instead of deliberate growth. Reflection is what transforms experience into wisdom. It's what turns failure into feedback and success into strategy. Without it, even the most productive day can leave you feeling empty, because growth isn't just about doing more, It's about understanding what you're doing and why. When you end each day with reflection, you create space for meaning to emerge. You begin to see patterns, the things that lift your energy, the ones that drain it, the moments that align with your values, and the ones that pull you away from them. That awareness is where transformation begins. Take just 5 minutes at the end of your day and ask yourself 3 simple questions. What did I learn today? What did I handle well? What will I do differently tomorrow? These questions don't just invite you to think, they invite you to evolve. They turn every day, no matter how ordinary, into a lesson, because even the smallest insight, repeated daily, compounds into wisdom over time. Most people underestimate the power of small moments like this. They think growth requires big breakthroughs or life-changing events. But it doesn't. Growth lives in the quiet, in those nightly conversations you have with yourself, in the courage to be honest about where you fell short, and in the willingness to try again with more awareness tomorrow. And there's something deeply grounding about ending your day this way. It reminds you that no matter what went wrong, you still have the power to learn from it. It turns regret into resolve. You stop judging yourself by outcomes and start measuring yourself by effort, by how willing you are to keep learning, to keep showing up, to keep refining the person you're becoming. So before you end your day, take a breath. Don't rush to escape it, understand it. Because every day you reflect, you strengthen the bridge between who you were and who you're becoming. And that bridge, built one reflection at a time, is the foundation of an unbreakable mind.